All right, today's class on integers, we're looking at plotting integers, but we will be looking at plotting integers on a coordinate plane today. All right, so just a little bit of an introduction or a bit of a review from what we've looked at before. So we have this horizontal and vertical number lines, okay? So this vertical axis here, that's the y-axis, and then this horizontal axis here, that is called the x-axis. And these two number lines, they intersect at this place here, and that's called the origin. Okay, the origin is where x equals 0 and y equals 0. So right here is the origin. Now, as we know on a horizontal number line, anything to the right of 0 is positive, anything to the left of the 0 is negative. Now we're looking at the vertical number line. Anything above 0 is positive, and anything below 0 is negative. The other thing we need to know here is that because of these two axes intersecting here at the origin, we see these four parts in this coordinate grid. And this is our first quadrant here, top left, top right is the first quadrant. Moving left, this is our second quadrant. Down here is the third quadrant, and down here, bottom right is the fourth quadrant. All right, so just again, looking at a coordinate plane here, the origin here is at 0, 0, and to the right of 0, we have positive numbers. To the top of 0, we have positive numbers. To the left of 0 are negative, and below is also negative. All right, and then here would be our first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant here. All right, now what you're going to notice is when we have the quadrants in our coordinate grid, you're going to notice that your ordered pairs or your coordinates in quadrant 1 will be positive, positive. So x is positive, y is positive. In quadrant 2, the x is negative and the y is positive. In quadrant 3, both x and y are negative, and in quadrant 4, our x is positive, the y is negative. And this will make more sense as we do examples. All right, so just a review of ordered pairs. The first number is always x, the second number is always y. So the x coordinate tells you the number of units you're going to move left or right. The y coordinate always tells you the number of units you're going to move up or down. So one way to remember it is alphabetical. X comes before y, so you're always going to move x first and then your y coordinate. So here's an example of an ordered pair. So in brackets we have 3, 2. So the 3 is your x coordinate and the 2 is the y coordinate. Okay, so like I said, there's going to be two integers that are called your coordinates or your ordered pairs. The first number refers to your x coordinate. The second number refers to the y coordinate. All right, so our first example here, we're looking at coordinate A right there. So if we look at coordinate A, we always start with our x coordinate first. So going over to x, our x coordinate is 2. I'm just going to open up a bracket and put 2. And then our y coordinate, looking on our y-axis, is 3. So our coordinate for point A is 2, 3. Next, let's look at our coordinates for B. So x coordinate always comes first. So our x point or x coordinate is negative 3. And then our y coordinate, so point B going across the y-axis, is at 2. All right, so our coordinates for point B are negative 3, 2. Next, let's look at our coordinates for C. So x always comes first. So at x, we have -3. And our y coordinate is -1. All right, and just pointing out here again at 0, 0, right there is the origin, 0, 0. I'm just going to put another point here. Let's just put another point right here, and we'll call it point D. What would our coordinates be there for point D? Just going to pause here. All right, so our coordinates, or the ordered pairs for point D, are at 2, -2. There we go. All right, so we've been working on getting all these questions done, and we're down at question 16. Where is each of the following points located? It's a quadrant or axis. So the point is 0, -3. So 0, -3, the point is right here. It's on the y-axis. So we would just say that point is located on the y-axis. The next point is 0, 0, which is right here. We would call that the origin. So 0, 0 is the origin. That's where the two axes intersect, right here. Last one is at 5, -20. So going over 5, and then -20 would be down here. So we would say it's in quadrant 4. So I'm just going to say quadrant 4. So the last thing I wanted to mention before you guys start the homework is paying attention to the scale of the axes. Okay, so the scale we were looking at previously, it was going up by ones. Everything was going up by ones. But if you notice this scale here, the x-axis is going up by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. If we look at our y-axis, it's going up by 5s. All right, so if we were to label this point here, it's at -2, 5. Okay, this point here is at +2 and -5. And then this third point here is at 6, -10. All right, so very important to pay attention to your scales. On this one, our x-axis is different from our y-axis. Our y-axis is going up by ones, but our x-axis is definitely not. So here we have half, and then across on our y-axis we have 3. So this point would be at half, comma,